Al treilea lector este domnul Valentin Ionuț Panea. Dumnealui predă finanțe la ASE București. În timpul liber se bucură să lucreze cu liceenii. Este antrenor în domeniul competițiilor de robotică. Este la curent cu noile informații din tehnologie, promovează România prin viitoarele generații. A reușit să conducă echipa Autovortex către victorie la toate marile competiții de robotică din lume. Au fost calificați de 6 ori consecutiv la Campionatul Internațional de Robotică din Statele Unite. A jucat finala 2 ani la rând împotriva echipelor americane. În perioada 2016-2017, împreună cu partenerii noștri, a condus echipa de robotică în România, a făcut-o accesibilă și la nivel național pentru liceeni români. A creat 54 de noi echipe românești și a îndrumat peste 500 de elevi din întreaga țară.
Hello everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me today to Iași. I will talk to you a little bit about robotics, what we do in our team, why we are the Romanian National Robotics Team, and what tools did we use to innovate some of the aspects in order to work with the students, with the high school students, much better. Our team is mostly dedicated to First X Challenge. First X Challenge, it's an American competition. It is designed for high school students, and although you might think it's just robotics, boring, technology, nerds, and stuff like that, it's totally different. It's much more than robots. Actually, the robot is the tricky part that engages the students to create something differently, really to use and to work as a team, otherwise you cannot finish the project. But most interesting, because you need to create a robot, create a team, and fight in different championships, you actually get a touch of life and of real-time competition. There are several segments, because the Americans designed the competition starting with the smaller children that also want to do robotics, but they're not allowed to do cuttings or all kind of hard stuff. They just play with Legos. You see here the pylons. Starting with the green ones, they start from small classes, and then they continue to the red one. So when they are 8th graders, they still play with Lego, but not just simple Legos, they do all kinds of automations related to sensors and also programming. Then comes the orange one, the one that we are involved in, First X Challenge. Here you can see it's mostly dedicated to high school students, but also there is another element, the blue one. Over there you can build much more complicated robots, usually military style, you do welding and all kind of different stuff. What you need actually to do. First of all, when you start a team, a robotics team, and you would like to compete in this kind of competition, you first need to design a robot. Imagine children starting with the 9th graders. They learn how to use different software, starting with SolidWorks or PTC Creo. Starting with this here, we also have virtual reality embedded. The robot has to, let's say, decipher some kind of patterns. Then you need to build a robot. Here in the picture, you can see 2 of our robots. They are quite big. They fit in an 18-inch cube, but then they can expand. And what's very interesting, they are programmed in Java. Here we have a big problem because the students in Romania don't learn Java in high school. They usually do C++. Although the syntax is quite the same, it's a different approach. Each robot has a phone. We use Android phones. The robot has a phone, the battle station has the second phone. Here you see this syntax, the hardest fun you'll ever have. Why fun? Because when you are a child and you try to do creative stuff, but then you see the finished product, and after you win a competition, things change differently. Each team can be mentored by an adult. This can be a parent, a teacher, or any person that would like just to give a hand and to help. And most interesting, to develop these STEM skills that everybody's talking about lately. After you do all these preparations, you compete at a regional competition. We had a huge problem in Romania because we had no local competition. And imagine it was super hard to travel all around the world, mostly in exotic places, starting with Korea and ending to Australia, because we had nothing in Europe. The guys from the competition made a study, And the numbers are astonishing. A lot of the children that do robotics during their high school period are most likely to encourage a STEM career. That's interesting because in Romania, a lot of children, they just go away when they hear about mathematics, physics, and all the boring stuff that they do at school. With this kind of a structure and the project, they see that their creation actually can move, it has a life, and they just receive courage to continue in this field and not to try to pick something much easier for them. I have here a video about our team. I will talk while the video is running. Hopefully it works. Okay. You will see some pictures during our history. We started 6 years ago. We were a very small team in a city near Bucharest, in Voluntari. This is the place where I come from. And 6 years ago, the guys from the American school in Bucharest, they tried an experiment. They had this competition running for their American schools in the Eastern European part of the world. And they tried that year to bring 2 new local teams into the competition. One of the teams was from the high school in Voluntari. It was a technological high school. And I was the coach of the children at that time. Imagine I'm an economist. I had no clue how to build a robot, how to program, or actually how to manage a small group of children. But I liked actually working with students and with children. It was a success. We won the competition. Then we went to America, to the World Championship. We got beat up very badly. And then we had a choice. We had to choose between just going to the competition, just traveling, and that's it, or trying to build more. We chose the red pill to build more. I think it was a wise decision. And after 6 continuous years participating in the World Championship, we were the first team ever to challenge the American teams in the finals of the competition. Unfortunately, we lost the finals. It was a very stressful game, but I think this year we'll try to do much better. The competition is very interesting, and as I said, besides doing all the stuff about building the robot, you actually need to be very creative in order to work with the students. Imagine there are high school students, there are a lot of attractions and distractions, and you need to try to focus them first to finish the robot, to be attentive, and we try to do the educational part of actually programming and learning how to build different stuff on the secondary level so they don't feel like being at school. What we did next, after seeing all the way the Americans team build up their teams and work in the schools, since I don't teach in a high school in Bucharest, we tried to find a neutral place to train, and we convinced the guys from the Polytechnic University in Bucharest to give us a place. It was a huge room, much bigger than the one that we are sitting today here. We renovated the rooms with our partners, and we created a robotics hub for FTC in Bucharest. We thought of a place where the children come for fun. They feel very relaxed. They don't come to work. They come actually to learn. We have even a ping pong table, air hockey, and food, drinks, soda, and so on. So we try to make their staying very, very interesting and full of pleasure. It worked very well. Then we managed to bring the competition in Romania. It was a challenging part. Why? After we found 2 of our main sponsors and the partners, McCann and BRD, of course, everybody wanted to do robotics for a lot of children. It's not easy to do this kind of stuff. Imagine in a robotics team, at least to grow it up from 0, you need to invest at least 8,000 euros in parts, 3D printers, kits, field, and so on. They accepted the challenge. We accepted the challenge. We brought a competition in Romania, and we managed to create 54 new teams. I think this is by far the greatest experience and legacy we will leave to Romania, because even if you win or lose the World Championship, always you ask yourself, what's going to be in the future? I think these children will continue the fight. We traveled around 33 cities in Romania. By car, we presented the children at the high schools the robots that we had last year, and they accepted the challenge. There were more than 700 students involved, and we gave, I mean we, not we as a team, we as a group with the partners. Each team received a kit of parts, so they had enough parts to build a robot, to program electronics, and so on. We gave them a 3D printer plus the knowledge how to actually print, design, and create parts, and this was a novelty for Romanian high schools. They just knew 3D printing existed, but they never had ever touched a part. And we gave them the field for training. Because the competition is very much designed for the American games, it's hard to receive and to bring parts from America to Romania. What are our future projects? We would like to continue the project with FTC that comes from First Tech Challenge in 2018. The big challenge is to travel around the world. Last year we had a lot of competitions. We managed to win first place in South Korea in January. Then we went to Russia. In Russia it was hell on earth because they had regional competitions before their national one, but we managed to win again. Then we went to Canada. In Canada again, we had a shock because the American teams from Washington State came to compete in Canada, but we managed to beat them in the finals. Then there was Israel. Israel was the competition where we paid the most of the fees. We paid €1,000 competition fee. It was super outrageous, but they said, you want to come, you want to get an invitation, you need to pay for that. Okay, we paid, we won again. Then we went to the World Championship. To the World Championship, we managed to get to the finals. And then, after the World Championship, we went to the championship in Australia. Because their education system is shifted between summer and winter, their competition was during the summertime in our country. Again, we won first place. And now we are preparing for the new game of the next season. Also, there is another interesting competition in Romania. It's called the National Rovers Competition. It is designed by the Romanian Space Agency. And again, small teams of children, they need to design a rover, like a machine that has to explore different types of land. And we are also preparing the first crawler. It will be a robot that can shapeshift and expand. And our biggest challenge will be to finish our summer project. We want to bring on the market the first Romanian social robot. It will be a robot of the size of a child, not very big, not very small. It will have all the elements of artificial intelligence that our colleague talked about in the first place. We did a lot of research and experiments. We managed to connect it to the Google platform. It works brilliantly. We collaborated with a team from Cluj. They managed to create a software to speak in Romanian because it's very hard to find a software that speaks clearly Romanian. You can find English, all sorts, but Romanian, it's a big challenge. And hopefully it will work. And we want to bring it on the market until Christmas 2017. Once again, thank you for inviting us. We also would like to thank our partners because we could not have done it alone. And I think we will inspire a lot of children to continue to do something differently, and hopefully it will be a change for Romania. Thank you.
Thank you very much.